Girls, welcome in here today on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday in the USA. But today for us, it's Formula One in round 4 of the Savior 6 Racing League at the Chinese Grand Prix around the Shanghai International Circuit. We're going to try to get a hold of our normal in-race commentator, Revis, and see what weather is looking like for today. Once again today, we are going to be using our new full qualifying system, no practice. So we will be having drivers Q1, Q2, and Q3 sessions, with the top 15 advancing into Q2, and then the top 10 advancing into Q3. It will be a very exciting qualifying here today, especially with the choice of strategy in Q2. The soft tires here do not last very long at all, so it'll be very interesting to see who decides to go out on softs in Q2. Q1, you just want to put a solid lap on the board. Only 18 drivers, so only 3 drivers will be getting eliminated after Q1. So it should be a very relaxing session for most people, but a few of the bottom tiers are going to be stressed out a little bit. It'll be fun to see what happens here. We will turn on our track map, see where we see everybody here. Appears Tiburon James is leading the field and will be shedding the first lap here around the Shanghai International. F1 has been racing here since 2004 and has not missed a year until COVID hit in 2020, and they will also be skipping it again this year, upcoming in 2021. COVID has kind of ravaged the world. It all started here, but thankfully in the virtual world we're still able to come here to this beautiful circuit as we watch Tiburon James with our first lap here in qualifying 1. Down the front stretch with DRS open, and then you go into the first of 2 270-degree turns. Slowly winding all the way down, slowly losing speed as you go in and it ever tightens. Then you switch back out to the left, slowly opening up. You want to keep it as tight as possible, but also keeping the power down. Very tricky section, and it'll be very interesting to see that section through the start of the race. Tiburon James through Sector 1, pretty good so far. He has yet to score any points this season, hoping to break that streak this race. DNFing in Australia and Bahrain, 0 points, but finishing in Vietnam. Very windy section. One of the key factors in this circuit is the overtaking down the very long straightaway, which we'll see here shortly. As you come in here to the end of Sector 2, it's a 52.4 so far for Tiburon James. Through second gear, down, then switch it back to the right, and you want to get on the power and keep it as tight as possible, swinging down into the inside curb. It's very hard. If you get it wrong early, it's going to be wrong the whole way out, and you're going to lose speed all the way down this long straightaway. 1.2 kilometer, a 3/4 mile straightaway. DRS wide open on the McLaren, and then you got to pick that braking point. You have all day to find it, and you slam on the brakes, and you want to rotate the car around, open it up wide here, drifting out left, trying to get on the power as early as possible. You don't want to be losing the car. You want to get that straight line, and then cut this corner as much as you can. Don't swing wide onto the AstroTurf, and across the line, and it's a 132.6. Oh, dead even? Oh, no, not dead even. 136. 2 seconds exactly off. Vapor Cobalt with the fastest lap of the race so far. Fastest lap of qualifying 1, actually. Sorry about that, folks. So far, 5 drivers with lap times, and Tiburon James currently on the bottom of the leaderboard. Jan finishes his lap. A couple of the Haas's come around here. Let's see where Brogan is. Coming through the turn, he keeps it inside. Probably could have had a little bit more speed there, but it's still good enough for P3. You just want to get a solid lap on the board here. And JST is DSQ'd from the session, and that's going to put him starting in dead last. JST will be starting in P19. Oh, and El Capitano is here. El Capitano has made it into the session. Let's see if he can put a good lap on the board. Capitano's teammate Granny Boy is not going to give him slipstream here. We are unable to contact our in-race reporter at the moment, so let's see if we can get a hold of somebody else, since they appear to be preoccupied at the moment. Walker starting his hot lap here. 11 minutes left in qualifying one. Many people having times on the board. Jay Steed thankfully ghosted there, almost getting right in front of his teammate's way. He is DSQ'd from the session, so it's wondered why he's on the track at all right now. Walker going very well through the first sector. Mostly everybody coming out on the soft tires, as you do want to try to save those medium tires for the Q2 run, because the medium tires are the ideal tire to be starting this race on. 28 lap race. Softs only go about 8 laps, mediums about 17, and the hards around 22. So you can go with a soft to hard strategy, but the hards will not be very fast around here. 2 seconds slower than the average time on the soft lap, and 7/10 slower than your average medium tire lap. Walker coming through the second of the 270-degree right-handers. He goes purple through Sector 2 so far, and then you want to get on the power as early as possible because you build that speed all the way through that entire turn and all the way down this long straightaway. The Williams proving to be much better in this esports Savior 6 Racing League than they have been in real life recently. The first team actually in 2020 F1 getting 0 points, the first team since Minotti all the way back in 2014, I want to say, to get first team to get 0 points on a season. They got 1 point in 2019 from Robert Kubica in the downpour in Germany, was able to sneak a point. As Walker goes P2 so far Q1, that should put him safely in to the top. Many a drivers, Chief Chris without a time, currently on a hot lap here. See if he can nail a lap down. His D2E Kronos is out of the session. He is retired, safe and through with that time. Granny Boy is retired as well. Chief Chris, it's saying purple sector 2. Not staying there though, so it is probably not a true fact. This Ferrari though, with new driver on board next season, Carlos Sainz, it'll be interesting to see how well he can do in this Ferrari compared to his teammate Charles Leclerc, one of the up-and-coming young drivers. Carlos Sainz previously was a Red Bull driver and switched over to Renault and McLaren. He's been to a lot of teams now. Under his 4th team overall, he was in F1. Chief Chris going 5th fastest. The number 15 just won off Charles Leclerc, showing a little bit of pace here around China. Ferraris actually have the most victories all time here, with 13 victories. 13 podiums around China here, and Mercedes in 2nd place with 12 podiums around China. So Ferrari still lead Mercedes at least in something statistically, as Mercedes is slowly taking over the entire leaderboard. And as we say that, Sohan Matthew goes P4, showing that Ferrari pace on the track. Currently, the drivers that are in trouble are Mooks, who has yet to set a lap, Rebus Island on his intermediate tires, about to set a new hot lap here on the soft tire run. You go around the snailing section, you want to try, there's so many different lines you can take, but mainly you want to make sure you get real tight around this left-hander and then open the car up as quickly as possible. You get on that power as early as you can, and you come out flying almost. He keeps a very tight line there. Doesn't go out on the curbs. It's very interesting to see that racing line there. He's gonna have to swing it tight around the turns, and then you go through the twisting snake section, which always gets tighter. You go through this about 7th gear, flat out on soft tires in a quali run here. Then switch it back down to 5th gear around the right-hander. And then you come into the double left-hander, down into 4th, sometimes 3rd gear to try to get the extra rotation. Opening it up, shifting up into 4th gear. Coming to the end of Sector 2 here. Let's see what Rivas' time is at. And it's 19 seconds up on his previous fastest lap on the intermediate tires. It's a purple Sector 2, and that is staying there. So that is a true purple sector for Rivas Island. You'll see here, the DRS is going to open up for this long straightaway here on his quali run. Opens up. As he now comes down the long straightaway, you can find your braking point here. Picks it out perfectly. And this is a terrible camera angle. We would like to do one, and thankfully we get one. And then you just don't want to DQ here. You want to cut the turn as much as you can. Don't go wide. Perfect lap from Rivas. That should put him safely into Q2. And it does. A 131.0. What do you mean? Multiple drivers currently on the circuit. 5 minutes and 30 seconds left. We were going to see if we can get a hold of an in-race reporter, however, though, because we do want to try to find out what the weather is, but nobody seems to be answering. Busy session so far. Who do we currently have out here on a hot lap? Hayden, it looks like, about to start a flying lap here. Currently down in P14, not the quickest lap we've seen. Currently safe, but a couple drivers behind that potentially could move ahead of him if he does not able to set a fastest lap here. Yellow flags as people are letting each other pass. Very clean, safe racing. Hayden, solid so far through Sector 1. Let's see what his time is, and he's 2/10 up on his time at the moment. Probably didn't get much practice in. He was overslept for this race. He has overslept. So he wasn't unable to participate in the practice sessions pre-race. Hopefully he can wake up here, because right now Q1 appears to be a little bit of a struggle for Hayden and the Alfa Romeo team. Sauber Alfa Romeo Racing Orleans. Oh, and he TSQs his lap. Oh, and he's crashed out. That's a massive wreck from the Alfa Romeo. Don't know why. It seemed like nothing really broke unless the brake got stuck there for some reason. Hopefully nobody colliding with him. They are able to remove that car pretty quickly. Let's get up on board with RV Draco. I believe he may be on a fastest lap attempt right now. And he is. Oh, and he just keeps it on the track here. Doesn't over-rotate the car and crash like Hayden had. Gonna try to get on the power very early here. And Rivas Island has finally been able to join us. He must have been under a lot of pressure there, not thinking he was going to advance. Rivas Island, what's the weather forecast looking like?
Well, it looks like rest of qualifying is going to be pretty sunny, but the start of the race looks like there's going to be a little bit of rain, a little bit of light rain, probably some intermediate, and then it looks like about maybe a third of the way through, halfway through, it's probably going to turn to dry after that. So it'll be an interesting start. I'm not sure if it's going to be intermediate. It's a light rain, so it could be intermediate or it could just be slick tires, but we'll see when the race actually starts.
It'll be interesting.
There's going to be rain falling.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Normally it is a two-stop race here a lot of the times, unless you're going soft to hard. Soft, medium, soft is definitely a viable strategy around here. How do you feel about your qualifying session? Obviously you retired. Seems like a good thing so far. You look like you probably think you're safe for Q2.
Oh yeah, I felt pretty good on my one lap. Doing the practice, I thought I felt pretty good. I think I could easily make it into Q3, but we'll see. I'm not sure now with the rain. I'm not sure if I should even go for a medium lap for Q2, but we'll see. I'm not gonna give away my strategy just yet. But I feel pretty good, especially with that lap. It definitely wasn't the best, but seeing the other lap times on the board, not too far off some of the other drivers. So.
Now, how do you feel about your teammate? You seem to be doing well. Your teammate seems to be struggling just a little bit out there. He's currently P16, but Vapor Hayden has crashed out and is in P15. So even if he's able to come back, he will be starting the race at highest P15, your closest rival. Do you think your teammate can beat him? Or are you helping your teammate out with the strategy here?
I gave him a little bit of tips on. I told him to possibly use my setup for the race. Maybe I'll give him a couple seconds or not. I haven't been in too much communication with him. I hope he can maybe make it to Q2 one of these times. Or
well, he's finishing his lap here. He goes wide, though, and I believe that's going to be a DSQ'd lap. And it is.
Man.
He's going to have one more lap attempt here, potentially, though. I do not see a fuel light flashing on his steering wheel. So let's ride on board with Tiburon James. Currently P16. Rivas of the McLaren is already in, but his teammate is not in. And also the Renault of Prince, the only Renault in the field today, as the other car appeared to have engine trouble when they tried to start it up for qualifying, was unable to make it. The Red Bull had the same issue, but they were able to get it started about 2 minutes into qualifying, and that Red Bull is currently P1 and P5 right now in qualifying 1. But Tiburon James, through the snaking section, what would you say is your hardest part of the circuit, Rivas? Oh, and that's DSQ'd lap. He has DSQ'd his fastest lap attempt, and I believe that will mean Tiburon James is not going to be advancing. Jan ahead of him, I think maybe on a hot lap, but Tiburon James was catching him. Prince may be finishing a hot lap here. Let's see. And it is! It's good enough for P12! Ooh. Prince, with a final lap with 20 seconds to go, able to move himself out of the bottom.
Hayden, though.
Hayden will not be advancing through qualifying 1. He crashed out after DSQing his lap out of the double left-hander. He then over-rotated the car. It looked like a brake may have just randomly locked on the front left wheel because he turned straight left into the wall. We are unsure what happened, and Jan is not able to go faster. Tiburon James, we know, DSQ'd, and that's going to set the field for the final part of Q1. Q2, the top 15, RV Draco making it in by the skin of his teeth. Rivas, good luck. Thanks for the race update, or the race weather forecast. Good luck in Q2.
Yep, thanks.
Emoji eyes, emoji eyes. Hayden didn't seem happy.
And that is going to be the end of Q1. As we heard from Rivas, though, there is rain projected for the start of the race. So that may completely change up the Q2 qualifying here. Granny Boy with the fastest lap in Q1 so far. He was almost 0.2 faster than Walker. Brogan going third fastest, but I believe he used 2 sets of softs there to get that lap attempt in Q1. A little unnecessary, knowing that he had already advanced into Q2. No rain projected for qualifying, but we will see. You never know. Forecasts can change at any moment. I believe we will give you an update here on the Super Bowl, maybe. Maybe at halftime. I'm not 100% sure at the moment. No, we have a lot of viewers from all over the world. Currently, the Buccaneers are up 21-6 on the Kansas City Chiefs. Unbelievable performance so far from Tom Brady with 3 touchdown passes, only 2 incompletions, 16 for 20 passing for 140 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns for Rob Gronkowski, showing the pair still have it. It'll be interesting to see if they win this Super Bowl, if Tom Brady comes back for another year, or if he decides to retire. But here we are now, Q2. This is where you make your money. If you can make it through on a medium tire, it sets you up for a beautiful race strategy here. But soft tire will be a lot easier to run. You'll gain a lot more time. As we said before, about 1.3 seconds on the delta between the soft and the medium tire. It is a 28-lap race. The softs only go about 8 laps, minus your qualifying laps. But as we did talk to Rivas before, there may be starting on inters. It'll be very interesting. to see who starts on inters or if they start on softs if the rain is light enough. We love these little rain races as it adds a lot of strategy and a lot of intrigue. Hopefully, we see people trying to start on different tires potentially. If they think the rain's going to stop after a lap or two, going out on the soft tire to start the race may be the way to go. So we all ride on board with RV Draco, making it through in the P15 position, but that is all erased from the board now. It doesn't mean anything for Q2 here. RV Draco leading away Walker. The AlphaTauri team currently P9 in the driver's standings, only 7 points so far. 7 points all coming from Purple Catfish. RV Draco does have 2 points on the season, but that was when he was a reserve driver for Renault to open the year. After 2 races, he took over the AlphaTauri seat in Vietnam, where he was unable to garner points in that first race. Hopefully he can come back here in his 3rd race of the year and get some solid points for the AlphaTauri team. Maybe double points would be the amazing result here today for AlphaTauri, but it is a very competitive field so far today.
Austin, I really can't be bothered. I just woke up.
And Hayden has been suffering today from some dementia issues, unable to wake up in time for the race. We'll have to see if he can stay awake for the race itself. But it may be an amazing comeback drive. May be able to get driver of the day. It'll be very interesting to see what the Alfa Romeo team can do out here today. Currently, Granny Boy, P1, and Walker, both on medium tires with the fastest laps so far. Vapor Colbelt on the medium tire. Sohan Matthew on the medium tire. Mooks, Prince, Draco, and Knight, some of the slower running cars in the field, going out on softs and able to set their fastest laps. Sohan Matthew probably will have to go on a soft tire run. I don't believe the medium run there will be quick enough for him. Knowing Light, I don't believe that will be fast enough either. But a lot of people on mediums, we'll have to see. They may go out on softs at the very end. We'll have to see. Oh, and that's a beautiful corner from Chris there. That's the exact line you want to take. Maybe run a little bit wider to keep some speed. But overall, it's a very good line. It gets them up into P9, ahead of the soft tire run from Mooks. And oh my goodness, everybody's out on mediums. It's going to be interesting. Who's going to have to change onto the softs? The softs, after a qualifying run and an out lap and in lap, probably only have 5 to 6 laps of usable life in them. Probably 3 to 4 laps before you start losing some pace as well. Definitely not the tire you want to be starting the race on here. It'll be interesting to see who prioritizes trying to get into Q3 versus who decides to go switch onto a soft tire and go for the fastest lap and start on the unideal strategy. Whether they use strategy and, oh, Chief Chris may have gotten in Brogan's way there a bit. I'm unsure. That was very tight. Brogan still has not DSQ'd his lap, though. We'll watch him coming through here on the medium tire, a second medium lap on these medium tires. Drivers getting out of the way down the long back stretch. We'll have to see if any teammates help each other through there. as Brogan Morris currently does not appear to be on a fastest lap. We'll have to see what some of these drivers decide to do. Chief Chris, we know, is finishing a lap. Purple Catfish is on an out lap. Revis Island finishing his lap. Nope, he's going on another lap. It appears he DSQ'd his first lap there. Purple Catfish all over the back of Revis. They're both on hot laps here. Revis is flashing DRS though. Purple Catfish much faster than Revis at the moment on those soft tires. Revis though trying to settle up on mediums here. It may not be enough though. It's going to be very interesting. And Catfish gives up on his lap, realizing he was catching the back of Revis. That's very unfortunate for Catfish. I think he thought Revis was finishing a lap. But unfortunately, Revis must have DSQ'd and is now going for another lap. Catfish is probably going to want to pit and go on to a new set of tires here, because more than one lap on those softs, and it's already unideal as it is, just adds more difficulty to your strategy. Revis catching up here to the back of Knowing Light. Hopefully Knowing Light sees him, gets out of the way. He may give him some slipstream actually down the backstretch here. He gets a little bit there. This is a terrible camera angle that we have on the McLaren for these backstretch runs. Can we please get a better camera angle through there? That is a terrible camera angle. Revis finishing his lap here. Oh, and he DSQs it. He's going into the pits. He's not going to set a lap on medium tires. That's got to be a warning. Definitely sped into the pits there as Purple Catfish DSQs his lap. DSQs his lap before it starts. Purple Catfish on the back foot with only 7 minutes left in qualifying. He is not going to be doing another lap on these softs. That would be way, way too much. The only driver currently on track, Purple Catfish, on a DSQ'd lap. I believe he will be going into the pits at the end of this lap, as we know have everybody else in the pits at the moment. 2 drivers yet to set a lap. The top 10 will advance into the Q3 session, but whatever tire they qualified on to get them into Q3 will be the tire that they will be starting the race on. We currently have 1 driver on an out lap, is Chief Chris, coming out on the soft tires. Revis Island switching to the soft tires in the pits. I believe he will be coming out here shortly, as he does have to set another lap. And this is a good time also to tell you, here at the Savior 6 Racing League, we are always looking for new members. We have the Savior 6 gaming community also as a whole. This is just a small part of that. As the Savior 6 Racing League, we do F1 racing, but Savior 6 gaming community. If you're interested in gaming of any sort, any platform, you just want to get some people to hang out together, get some people to play games with you, different types of games, whatever game it is, it'll be added to the server if there's a game that we have multiple people interested in. Feel free to look into joining us, or just asking questions about us if you want. We'll post our Discord links in the description here after the race. But yeah, Chief Chris is the creator of this league, creator of the gaming community as well. It's just a great place to meet people, hang out, just have a good time, especially in the world we're in today. You just want to be able to forget everything, relax, unwind, and just forget about the world outside. Enjoy this virtual world as much as we can. Try to forget about all the downfalls and pitfalls of life so far. Chief Chris starting his out lap for the Ferrari, currently P11. His teammate, Solon Matthew, in the other Ferrari, is currently P10. So if he's going to go faster, he's going to be knocking his teammate out. But yes, the Savior 6 gaming community, if you have any interest, Savior 6 Racing League, we're looking for broadcasters, reserve drivers. We will be looking for full-time drivers as well. Just currently don't have any open seats at the moment. But if you have any interest in racing, we give our reserve drivers every chance to race whenever somebody can't make it. So if you have any interest, feel free. Look in the description. Send us a message. Just ask. We look forward to meeting any and all of you in the future. And hope you have a wonderful week, everybody. As we hop on board here now with Chief Chris, coming through the double left-hander in this Ferrari. Very poor performance from the Ferrari.
I got you for broadcasting.
And one of our racers currently texting us mid-race sending us a message over the computer saying, I got you for broadcasting. But we were looking more so for full-time broadcasters that can broadcast Thursdays and Sundays. As starting Thursday, I probably will not be able to broadcast the Thursday race. We'll try to make it for Sunday races. But yeah, if anybody out there has any interest in broadcasting, I'm obviously pretty new at this, trying to learn how to go about all of it. And Chief Chris goes P2 with a soft tire run. Catfish goes fastest overall, though, on 2-lap-old soft tires, 3-lap-old soft tires at the moment. Getting out of the way, the Haas of Mooks. That could be a bad sign for the medium tire runners. Walker has already retired from the session. We'll have to see if some of these medium tire runners decide to switch on to the softs and go for a fastest lap on them. Revis Island still is yet to set a lap. He's going to be going for a soft tire run here, finishing it actually, I believe. As he goes, P1 overall, a 130.4 from Revis. He's going to be starting the race on those soft tires, though. He's going to do a lot of tire management here. And that's a DSQ there for D2E. He's going to have to try to get into the pits here, change tires. He only has 2 minutes, 45 seconds. Average lap time around here on an out lap, you want it to be around a minute 40, a minute 45, just so you don't take the life out of the tires. It's going to be very close. I don't believe he will get another lap in. Unless he's going to try to do another lap on the medium tires, I do not believe he will be making it outside of the bottom 4. Yep, D2E has gone to the pits, and he's not going to get out in time. They're moving out of the way, but he is not going to get out for another lap. That is going to mean he will not be advancing. Mook's currently out on medium tires. We may be missing a driver at the moment. Chris safe. Sohan Matthew is not. 20 seconds left. D2E has retired, but P11 is not a bad spot to be starting here for this race. Sohan Matthew trying to go faster. He on the soft tire. Brogan Morris finishing his lap. He will not have another chance. He doesn't want to DSQ it. I don't know. It appears he will be fast enough here, and it will. P3 for Brogan Morris. Granny Boy and Walker mediums. Cobalt P8 on the mediums. He is in serious risk of falling out. Down to P9. 2 drivers still on track on the soft tires on valid laps. Prince and Sohan, if they can both go faster than Cobalt here. Cobalt, though, is out on track trying to set a faster lap. Currently, even with his Delta, though. Prince up on his Delta. Sohan, I believe, down on his Delta, however. That may be enough for Cobalt to be safely through. It's going to be very tight, though. Soha Matthew needing to make up 1 full second on his delta. Following Prince down through. Cobalt, let's watch him coming down across the line. He is not up as well. Plus .003 again. He's not going much faster. And he gets a very good final turn. And Prince is just going to hang on. Does he go faster than Cobalt? He does not, but it's good enough for P10. And Sohan Matthew also goes faster, knocking Prince out right at the final death. Unable to advance is Prince. Very poor final corner, probably cost him a chance to outrun Night Catsy. But we do have our top 10. 3 of the drivers, Cobalt, Walker, and Granny Boy, all starting on the medium tires. Prince and RV Draco, 11th and 12th, on the soft tire. Will have free choice, though. So that is the ideal starting spot if you do not want to be starting 9th or 10th. You'd rather be starting 11th and 12th, be able to choose your tire rather than be on a soft tire like Soha Matthew or Night Catsy. We'll have to see what happens here. We'll see if we can get Cap back into the game, as it appears he may have DSQ'd or disconnected. Unable to set a lap time. And here we are, the most important qualifying session, Q3 here at the Shanghai International Circuit. 10 runners battling it out to set the top 10 order of the grid. Starting tires already decided. 2 drivers, current past race winners. Granny Boy winning Australia and Bahrain. Walker winning at Vietnam. We'll have to see who can get on pole here and get away from the line clean. It is a very tight circuit as it gets tighter and tighter all the way through turns 1 and 2 before you switch back to the left through turn 3. Walker's the first one out as well. He's been the first out basically every qualifying session here, making sure he gets out clean, no traffic in front of him, and gets a solid lap on the board to start his day. The Williams, currently P3 in Constructors. Red Bull, though, absolutely dominating the Constructors. 84 points, 21 points clear of second place Racing Point after an unbelievable performance from the reserve driver of Warrior Ends. Warrior Ends getting 15 points and a podium for Red Bull Racing Team. The first time other than Granny Boy getting points for the Red Bull all season, and it's a podium. That is exactly what Red Bull wants to see. Unfortunately, the other Red Bull, unable to compete in Q2 due to some connection issues. Revis Island on a hot lap as well, trying to get the tires warm. As Walker is passed by Cobalt on the out lap. He's going to take too much life out of these tires in case he has to do 2 runs. He's also going to let Revis Island pass. He's going to try to set it up so he can get some slipstream down the long back straightaway, but you don't want to make sure you want to make sure you're not too close that you're going to catch the driver ahead. Let's hop on board here with Vapor Cobalt. P9 in Q2, but it doesn't matter here, as now you can go as fast as you can. This is where we see everybody's true pace. We see everybody flying, going all out, trying to set a fastest lap. Cobalt leads the way. Revis leads on Walker. 3 of the drivers going to set a fastest lap. Brogan Morris coming out of the pits just now in the Haas. He has a lot of traffic coming behind him. Hopefully he gets clear here. Doesn't cause any issues for these drivers. Cobalt coming down into turn 6, locking on the brakes, and that's purple sector so far for Cobalt. But it appears Walker has gone faster. Probably the trickiest sector on the circuit, sector 2. Cobalt running up behind Brogan, and Brogan is not getting out of the way. This is very poor from the Haas driver. What is he doing? He's on an outlap. And Brogan is just blocking the track. That has to be some sort of penalty for Brogan, as he completely F's up Cobalt's lap there. And then he gets hit by Brogan. Brogan, that is completely uncalled for. Brogan Morris with an absolutely poor performance there. absolutely appalling sportsmanship. I believe that should be a race ban for Brogan Morris. At least one race ban for Brogan Morris. That was completely uncalled for. Going out in front of Cobalt, blocking his hot lap attempt, and then hitting him off the circuit. As Knowing Light, DSQs, or no, DNFs he may have. Very hard to see from out here. Let's see if we can hop on board with Catfish and see where he is. He's already disappeared, so we will not have any idea what happened to Knowing there. Very unfortunate for Cobalt, though. That is piss poor performance from Brogan Morris. That is not something we want in this league whatsoever.
Fucking 5-place grid pen.
And we will be adding... Brogan will definitely be getting penalties after this race.
I saw, that was absolutely pathetic and uncalled for. I have it on stream.
So the only teams with both drivers making it through. The Racing Points, currently P9, P10. Knowing Light not setting a lap. He's going to be starting in P10 as long as Cobalt is able to set a lap. And then the Ferraris, as a surprise, both drivers making it into Q3. Currently P6 in the driver's standings. But both of them making into Q3. Hopefully they can capitalize on this very good qualifying performance so far. Granny Boy finishing his in-lap. It'll be very fun to see this final lap of qualifying. Granny Boy with an absolute flyer goes 0.6 faster than Granny Boy. A 1:29.6 for Granny Boy. An absolutely barnstorming lap that should be good enough for pole, but the track does evolve and it will get better as time goes on. As the more rubber is laid down, the track gets warmer, grippier. The tires will melt away quicker as it gets hotter, but you will get that little bit more grip, which is exactly what you see in qualifying for going for fastest lap. Purple Catfish so far the surprise at the moment in P4, as we have drivers starting to return to the pits, potentially coming out for their second of their 2 hot lap runs here. Chief Chris just returning to the pits. Every driver is either on an in-lap or in the pits at the moment. Not much currently going on track. Piers Walker will be the first out of the pits here. We're going to have to see what kind of lap he gets. Actually, sorry, Night Catsy, the first out on circuit, along with Revis Island. Night Catsy did receive a penalty for a poor move, a 10-second penalty in Vietnam, causing him to fall down outside of the points, getting 0 points instead of the P7 finish he would have had. His teammate, though, ended up moving up because of it, and Ricky Starr, unable to make this race, 10 points, 8 points, and 6 points, currently P5 in the driver's standings, but unable to make this race here tonight. Hopefully his teammate here can carry the load for the Mercedes team. Currently P5, he's going to have to try to go faster than that, though. He wants to get ahead of the Ferrari and Purple Catfish and the AlphaTauri at least. Granny Boy in the Red Bull, though, currently P1, with an absolutely amazing lap so far. Revis Island on his out lap. He should be able to improve on that time. So far, a very unrepresentative time, I would say, from Revis. Should be able to go much faster than that. He just has to put the lap together. The 27 McLaren starting his final Q3 run here on these soft tires. Swinging it tighter and tighter through turn 1 and turn 2. But when you switch back in turn 3, turn 4, you want to open it up, get on the power in a straight line as quick as you can. You don't want to spin out, though, because if you're turning and putting the power down at the same time, you will lose control of your car here. And that's a purple Sector 1 from Revis. We've seen them all day, so we don't know how much we can believe them here. But Revis Island, currently with a very quick lap, it's still purple, so I would say it probably stands. Coming through the long snaking section, slowly tighter every single turn through his entire section. To me, the most difficult sector on the circuit. Coming tight here as you start the second, as we said before, of the 270-degree curves. Getting on the power, he's taking a very nice tight line there. It may affect a little bit of speed. He may get a little bit of scrubbing just from running wide. These McLaren's cameras are not very useful, but we can get a very good look at the McLaren steering wheel there. 8th gear, 116 currently on his lap attempt. It's down to 2nd gear, opening up wide. You go in a straight line, get on the power as quick as you can, and then you nail this last turn. You can lose a lot of time here if you don't take it right. Takes it absolutely beautifully. Revis Island across the line. What's it going to be? It's P2, a 129.8 for the McLaren driver. We haven't seen this all year. We saw it all last season, though. Revis Island, P2, front row of the grid. But Walker is currently on the hot lap, and he's pushing for pole position. Currently almost 3/10 up, already made up half the gap to Granny Boy here. Granny Boy is on an out lap, so he will be doing another hot lap attempt. Purple Catfish is still in the pits at the moment. It may not be going for another hot lap. He did have to burn an extra set of tires in Q2 due to being backed up by Revis on his medium tire run. Walker through the double left-hander. Let's see what his sector time is here, coming to the end of Sector 2. And he is, he's lost actually a little bit of time there. Should be good enough to hopefully get through Revis if he can nail this last sector. Just a couple of turns through here, but a lot of time that you can make up. We didn't see his first lap, so we don't know where he lost a lot of his time. But as he comes here down the back straightaway, Granny Boy waiting for Walker. He's going to try to get some slipstream down the front straightaway, give him a little bit of a tow here. Tight through the right-hander. He's going to open it up, go straight, get on the power. That's why the track opens up for that. Onto the curbs. He's going to cut it. Absolutely nailed. A little bit of the rumble strips. Down across the line. And it's P1. Just beating out Granny Boy. Granny Boy going to have to go faster this lap. He cannot DSQ it if he wants pole. This is going to be his only attempt to get pole. Walker, though, currently on pole. Granny Boy in P2. Granny Boy through the snail section. Always tightening. You never know if you're taking the right line through there. There's so many different ways you can take it. Coming out, he gets on the power very, very well there in the Red Bull. And he's 2/10 up. Oh, man, if he can keep that up, it's going to be a very, very tight battle for P1 here. Granny Boy going wide. Walker did lose a little bit of time through this section, so Granny Boy maybe has some time to make up. He takes a very good run through there. This is very clean and very fun to watch right now. Currently 2/10 up. Granny Boy, all he has to do is hold it together here, not DSQ his lap. He should be going good enough to get him on pole position. A little bit of a struggle there through that left-hander, though, before the long right-hander. Coming down the long straightaway, you have all day, almost 15 seconds to find your braking point. Thinking about what you're going to do, how you're going to nail these last 2 turns of your lap. Finds the braking point, turns right, absolutely beautifully cut, getting straight on the power here. As you come into the final left-hander, very easy to DSQ here. Oh, he took it a little bit wide there. He may not have gotten it. It's going to be close, and it's good enough. It's 3/10 faster. Granny Boy with an absolutely barnstorming lap there to end his qualifying session. Brogan coming through, currently 4/10 up on his fastest lap, it appears. And he's P6. Cobalt, well up on his time. Let's see if he can convert it into a top 5 position here, hopefully. Get ahead of Brogan. Get ahead of Brogan. He does. It's P3 for Cobalt after getting absolutely mugged off by Brogan Morris in what will surely be at least a penalty, if not a race ban. Cobalt goes P3. Revis, P4, and another surprise, Purple Catfish all the way up in P5. And I believe that is his best qualifying performance of the year, with only 1 attempt An absolutely amazing lap from Purple Catfish, but Cobalt has that grid place penalty because of Brogan Morris blocking him off. For some reason, Brogan doesn't get any sort of penalty. That is completely unfortunate for the Racing Point. Granny Boy, though, starting P1. So we wait. Let's see. Make sure we can get Cap in. I believe he should be in. Knowing Light, P10, probably the worst position to be starting. I'm not 100% sure. I believe he's starting the race on the soft tire. As there was only 3 drivers to make it through on the medium, and that is our top 3 runners, all starting on the medium. Rivas Island will be the first of the soft runners, so he may be able, if they are not starting on inters, depending on the rain level, may be able to start on the soft tire and get a very good run on the leaders. As El Capitano is in the lobby. As we wait for the drivers to select their strategies. And the session will be starting shortly. We'll have to see how long this rain lasts. Forecast does say it should be lightening up here shortly after the start of the race. Formation lap will take a little bit of time out of that. We'll have to see. It'll be very interesting to see if anybody tries to start the race on the soft tires or if they are all starting on intermediate tires. The track looks decently wet from our perspective looking down the pit lane. The drivers are starting on the medium tires. Yes, all drivers starting on dry tires, but a little bit of rain. Soft tires will warm up a lot more quickly than those medium tires will. The medium tire runners are going to have to try to weave back and forth quite a bit here, try to get those tires up to temperature. As we have Granny Boy in the Red Bull starting from pole position after a poor qualifying performance in Vietnam. Saw him starting in P5. Starting now from pole position on the medium tires. Walker in P2 on the medium tire. Rivas Island, first to soft runners, in the McLaren in third. The AlphaTauri, Purple Catfish, fourth. The Red Bulls are sandwiching Brogan Morris, fifth for Sohan Matthew, sixth for Brogan Morris, seventh for Chief Chris, eighth for Vapor Cobalt, the third of our medium tire runners in the top 10. Night Catsy in the first of the Mercedes in ninth position. Knowing Light after that crash to start Q2, or Q3, starting on the soft tires in the Racing Point. Prince, the first of the tire free choice, starting on the soft tires. D2E starting on the mediums. Mooks and Draco starting on soft tires. Hayden after his crash out as well, starting on the medium tires. Definitely the ideal strategy. It's surprising to see that more of these people towards the back have not tried to start on the medium tire. Tiburon James and the other McLaren on the softs. Jan on softs. JT and Capitano on the soft tire. Capitano, after leaving the session, gets dropped all the way back to P19. P19 for Capitano. Red Bulls at the front and back of the field. Maybe Capitano can help with the strategy for Granny Boy, but he's pretty far back there. As Brogan Morris gets DSQ'd from the formation lap. Didn't quite see what happened there. We did see him disappear. The drivers coming back to reform here for the start of the race. The Chinese Grand Prix just seconds away from being underway here today. Waiting for the back of the grid to come in here and reform. One of the Racing Points towards the back, I believe that is Knowing Light, we were waiting on. As all the drivers have gotten set, the rain is slowing up a little bit. You can see a little bit of clear sky from the onboard of Granny Boy. Two, three, 4, 5 lights, and go! Granny Boy gets a terrible start as Walker down the inside gets an amazing start. Oh, and the Mercedes comes across, hits the AlphaTauri. Oh, that's an absolutely appalling start. That's unfortunate for Catfish. Night Catsy came right across, took him out of the field, it appeared. Night Catsy or D2E, it was very hard to tell. Granny Boy, though, losing P1. Brogan Morris up to third off the start of the race. Purple Catfish, though, after that amazing qualifying performance, goes all the way to the back of the field, down 15 spots there. Granny Boy, P2, Walker, P1, Brogan, P3, and the Ferraris get up to 4th and 5th position off the start of the race there. Great start from the Ferraris. The Racing Point is then running a line astern. Knowing Light 6th, Vapor Cobalt in 7th. Night Catsy with many penalties from the start of that race. Rebus Island in 9th, and Prince has moved up to 10th position on those soft tires. Got to take advantage of those softs while you can. They may not last very long throughout this race. Yellow flags in the back of the field. Very tight action, but certainly no VSCs and no safety cars. That's unfortunate for Catfish, as he will be having to pit for a new wing here. At least he's still in the race, though. Anything can happen. Walker, though, leading the field away with an unbelievable start. He's able to take P1, and let's see if he can hold it for the duration of the race. Maybe that was a strategy on Granny Boy. He wanted to be P2, try to save the RS for the entire race. Oh, and somebody goes well off the track in the background. Who was that? And Hayden has crashed out. Hayden goes off the circuit. Yellow flag is out, and that's a full course safety car. Couldn't tell what happened there. Somebody hit him off, or he lost some suspension there. It was very hard to tell from the angle we were at. But let's see if anybody's going to the pits. We do have the Ferrari of Sohan Matthew going into the pits. Multiple other drivers, Knowing Light into the pits. It's going to save Purple Catfish's race potentially here. Surprised to see that some of the soft runners did not pit there, though. If all the soft runners, if I was on soft tires, I probably would be pitting there. They're not going to last very long here at this circuit. You may try to hang it out, though, so you can go on to medium tires later in the race. 8 laps are allowed on the softs here. Typically the range that you can hit. Medium tires will last about 17, and the hards is 22, just as we stated earlier. It's a 28 lap Grand Prix here. We almost avoided a safety car, but unfortunately, another safety car to start the race here again. Currently, the only drivers to stop: Sohan Matthew, Knowing Light, Knight, and Kronos. Purple Catfish stopped to change his wing as well. Purple Catfish, though, he has been known to come from the back to get points here, so he may be able to do some overtaking and get another good result here, hopefully, for the AlphaTauri team. Walker leading away the field, though. Granny Boy in P2. And Capitano gets a severe collision warning back in the field for a collision with Jan. We didn't catch what happened there, as we are under the safety car. Probably will have another lap here, as we are still waiting for some of the field to catch up. The 21 of the Williams, Walker. The 93 Red Bull of Granny Boy. Brogan Morris, the number 21 car as well. Multiple numbers, apparently. Chris Chief in the 15 of the Ferrari. Vapor Cobalt, the 32 of the Racing Point. Rebus Island in the 27 McLaren. Prince in the number 12 Renault. Mooks, the number 9 Haas. El Capitano in the Ferrari, unsure of his number. And Tiburon James in the McLaren make up our top 10. Capitano up 10 positions at the moment, but with a 5-second penalty he will have to serve at his next pit stop. Be interesting to see. And Brogan Morris is now going to pit after a lap under safety car. That's going to drop him all the way to the back. That is very poor strategy there from the Haas team. If you're going to pit, you should have been pitting on lap 1. Appears Jan is in the pits as well. Very smart decision. Serve the penalty now under the safety car. Get rid of that 5-second penalty. You're already towards the back. Get a new set of tires on. and be able to do some overtaking. Get after it. If you pit here on the mediums, you can probably go medium to soft. It's slowly stopping. It would have been very interesting to see some more racing under the rain, but appears we have a lot of safety car time here. It's going to run the rain out. Appears the rain should be stopping here within a lap or two. Currently, though, fastest lap every single race has been Granny Boy, so it'll be interesting to see if somebody can go faster here, even towards the end of the race, strapping on a new set of softs, as the soft tires will be very fast, especially towards the end of the race. And the field waiting for Jan to be catching up here. Waiting for word from the marshal. Waiting for word from the stewards. Will the safety car be in this lap? Hopefully it is. We don't want to see a lot. We want to see racing here. We don't want to see these laps under safety car. Currently have yet to hear anything. I would imagine we would hear from them shortly. The safety car should be in here. Appears we will have another lap under safety car. Oh my goodness. If Hayden had crashed out on purpose there, hopefully that wasn't the case, but that would be worthy of a penalty for changing the outcome of this race. We don't want to see people crashing out on purpose. We'll have to see what happens here. We'll just assume he got hit off, as it looked like a lot of collisions back there. Unable to really clearly see on the replay what happened. On the live broadcast anyway. Maybe on the replay we will be able to see something, but should be going green here, as the rain has appeared to now stop. The rain has stopped, and that should give these drivers more than enough to go soft to medium, medium to soft, make it a one-stop race. It'd be very nice if we had no safety cars at some point, but unfortunately accidents on lap 1 are very prone, especially with laggy connections. Just something you have to deal with from time to time, but at least we get to be together here, race, and see a very competitive result. Cobalt in 4th position. Chief Chris, though, the first of the soft tire runners in that Ferrari, up in 3rd position. After Brogan Morris pit, the Chief up 4 positions, and Vapor Cobalt right behind him on those mediums. May have to hang out behind Chief for a couple laps, but he's going to want to get past here so he can hang on to the back of Granny Boy in the Red Bull. Doesn't want Chief Chris's old tires holding him up, because he will be a couple laps before he gets the DRS to try for an overtake. I don't believe we've seen safety car in this lap. It may be, though, because it appears Walker is slowing up. Safety car does appear that it will be in this lap. It's Walker backing up the field, getting his tires warm. You can see everybody through the field snaking back and forth, trying to get temperature in, as the track is very cold at the moment. Everybody line astern. As you see, most drivers warming up their tires. Couple drivers straight lining it. They don't want to be out of control on the start of this race. Safety car is in. Let's watch Walker. Let's see. He's probably going to take off right here. He does. Granny Boy down the inside. Walker, though, gets off to a good start. Granny Boy, though, able to hang behind. Chief Chris right on the back of them. On those soft tires, able to get them very warm. Pit stop strategy is open at the moment, but if they wanted to pit, they would have definitely pit previously. Chief Chris all over the back of Granny Boy here, coming through the right-hander. He's going to try to make a move here. Chief Chris versus Granny Boy. This is something we don't see every day. He's trying to use the tires to his advantage, but Granny Boy is able to get a better exit and pull away there. Cobalt also all over the back of Chief Chris. He's going to try to brake. Yep, nope, they're going to hold line for a little bit. Very tough to overtake through anywhere here but the long straightaways with the DRS down the backstretch or the front stretch of this Shanghai International Circuit. Night Catsy, though, proving me wrong and overtaking Knowing Light as they appear to be running side by side. Oh, and Kronos hits the back of Knowing Light, loses a little bit of front left wing. It may be like orange front wing damage there. Doesn't appear any wing damage for Connor up ahead. As Walker currently using his overtake, trying to pull out of Granny Boy's DRS, but the slipstream here down this back straightaway is just so powerful. They're already pulling away from Chief Chris, who's on the faster tire. Vapor Cobalt behind. And RV Draco trying to make a move. He's closing in on Sohan Matthew. Here he comes. He's going to try to go. Oh, he's on the softer tires, but he's not going to go for the move. He's going to hold station and try to get a better exit. Not able to. Granny Boy, current fastest lap of the race. And, oh, Draco's going to pit on the soft tires. He didn't put under safety car. He decides to pit now. And D2E Kronos is also going to be pitting after that wing damage that we saw with Knowing Light. Currently, decent spacing between all the drivers. Capitano trying to close in the back of Muth, both on old soft tires. The Red Bull, after being unable to qualify in Q2, was DSQ'd and had to start from the back of the grid. But he's already up to P8, up 11 positions. Many of these drivers, though, have not pitted, which allowed them to help move them up the field. Sohan Matthew closing in on the back of Tiburon James here. The Ferrari and the McLaren battling through the double left-hander here. Oh, as Cobalt actually gets very close to Chief Chris here. Chief Chris will probably try to use a lot of overtake, trying to keep the lead as long as he can. He may actually need to pit here. We'll have to see his tires. Oh, and he spins out. He hits the inside curve. Chief Chris loses it. Gets it going again, but it's going to cost him speed all the way down this long straightaway. Oh, that's very unfortunate for the Ferrari. He was up into third position. His teammate coming through here is going to pass him with the McLaren of Tiburon James. All the speed. Oh, and that's very unfortunate. Chief Chris just tapped that inside curb, lost control, just gave it a touch too much power. But he's able to keep it going, keep it out of the wall, no damage. Hopefully he can hang on and get some good points here. But that is going to move El Capitano up 12 positions, up to 7th now. El Capitano with an amazing performance so far here today. One of the biggest movers in the field. Cobalt, after that penalty, has already regained all of his places and has gotten up into third position after the spin by Chief Chris. Granny Boy going to have DRS on Walker here for the first time, it appears, if he can hang on through Sector 2. Night Catsy 3/10 behind Sohan Matthew at the moment. He closes up on those medium tires, both drivers on the medium tire. Sohan Matthew, though, able to get a decent exit and get out ahead. Granny Boy running a bit wide. That may be a warning there. That's something you definitely want to avoid here because the time penalty will be very costly. 3 seconds if you get per 3 warnings here. And they are unable to be served in pit stops. The only time penalties that can be served, and it's a VSC. A VSC as Purple Catfish is DNF'd. We did not catch the incident. He may have overpowered his car as it looks like a spot where you may spin out, as it is a high traction zone through one of the slow corners. This may give a perfect opportunity for some of these soft tire runners to pit and try to go onto the hard tire or the medium tire if they're expecting another safety car. If it was in my case, I would be pitting on the medium tires, hoping for a safety car to come out here. Let's see, Rebus is the first of the soft tire runners, and he will be pitting. He's going to try to utilize this VSC. We don't know how long it's going to last. It may end while they are in the pits, and Granny Boy is going to pit as well. Granny Boy probably going to be going onto the hard tire, I would imagine here. Let's see. No, it's going to be soft tires here for Granny Boy. He's going to try to maybe go soft to the end. The VSC has ended now, as Walker is now going to try to build that gap as quick as he can, because Granny Boy is going to be extremely fast on the soft tires, trying to keep fastest lap. Mooks on the back of Prince, some drivers that we typically don't see up here. Prince in third, Mooks in fourth, and Tiburon James in fifth position. All three drivers, though, on the soft tires and going to need to stop here within a lap or two. Rivas Island 13 Capitano is in the pits in the Red Bull. So these soft tire runners are definitely going to be having to pit here quickly. As you can see, Sohan Matthew all over the back of Tiburon James. On those medium tires, the soft tires definitely losing a lot of life. I would imagine Sohan Matthew will probably get past him pretty easy when we get to the back straight here. Closing in on the back of Tiburon James. He should keep it easy here. Take the safe route. Wait for DRS. Just keep your wing clean. Get a good exit through the long right-hander. The Ferrari, normally much quicker than the McLaren, but the previous year, engine issues, the Ferrari unable to capitalize on the normal speed and performance power. But here, with DRS, 30 to 40 kilometers per hour faster, opening that rear wing, he's able to get down, and Knight Catsy's going to try to go around the outside as well. He's on the outside, and he's going to get past Tiburon James. Oh, what a move by Knight. He takes advantage. Tiburon James may have not even seen him coming, as Tiburon James loses a little bit on the curb on those soft tires still. Those medium tires, though, showing how much more grip they have than the soft tires. Those soft tires falling off a cliff very quickly as Prince is into the pits. Brogan Moore's trying to hang out front, hoping for maybe a safety car here. But those soft tires, the longer they're out now, the more likely they're going to need some sort of VSC to save any sort of positioning. They're going to be falling back relatively quickly here. We take a look. Granny Boy now closing up on the back of Tiburon James. D2E Kronos sets the fastest lap of the race. On the softs down in 16th. Moving up past JST, who was just pit. Walker, though, currently leading this race, 5 seconds ahead of Cobalt, who's 5 seconds ahead of Mooks. Both of those drivers on the medium tire. Mooks, though, on the soft. Granny Boy almost getting wing damage there with Tiburon James. On the very old softs versus these brand new softs, you can already see the pace difference. He's made up 1.3 seconds in this sector alone. He's going to go down the inside of Tiburon James, and he's going to get the move done relatively easily, I believe. And yes, he does. Tiburon James overtaken by Granny Boy. But Granny Boy is not going to get the DRS on Knight Catsy. Knight Catsy does have DRS on Sohan. He's going to try to pull away from Granny Boy, as Granny Boy is closing in anyway, even though Knight Catsy has the DRS. Coming down the long back stretch. Let's see if Mooks is going to the pits. I would imagine he has to pit here, and he does. The Haas driver into the pits from P3. Keeps it clean through the turn. The site where now it is grass, but Lewis Hamilton in 2007 in his rookie season lost all of his chances of a podium going into the pits there, running deep on old tires. On the slightly wet conditions, a little bit drier now for the drivers, but definitely something to watch out for and take it easy because you can lose a lot going to the pits here. Walls are very tight, but you can make up some time as well. Walker maintaining his 5-second gap. Cobalt 12 seconds ahead of Sohan Matthew. And Granny Boy on the back of Knight Catsy. Let's see what Knight Catsy does here to defend, if he's going to fight it very hard. As Granny Boy's going to try to go down the inside, and no! Knight Catsy just avoids contact with Sohan Matthew as he tries to go down the inside as well. Granny Boy, though, around the outside, is he going to try to hold it? Or is he going to fall into position? He's going to go round the outside of the Mercedes! And he's going to have the inside for the tight right-hander in turn 8, and he gets it done. Now behind the Ferrari, the only car in his way to try to catch him back up to the leaders here. Sohan Matthew is going to probably give him DRS, and Granny Boy is then going to be in time trial mode from here on out. Walker, though, showing very good pace on those mediums still. Currently with a 18-second gap over Granny Boy. As Granny Boy should have a very easy move here on Sohan Matthew. Opens the DRS, and he's going to fly right by him. Not much the Ferrari can do in that situation. Let's see if there's anything else. Rivas Island, closing on the back of Yawn. Yawn on old softs. Rivas goes onto the hard tires. Very interesting strategy call there from McLaren. Probably could have gone on the mediums, but they would need another safety car, so must be thinking that there will not be another safety car here this race, as he gets the move down on Jan, moving him up into 8th position. And we have a yellow flag in Sector 3. Jan has lost it. He's overpowered the car going through, keeps the engine running though, keeps the clutch engaged, and he's able to get back out, only losing a few positions there. Very good from the Alfa Romeo driver to keep his car going after his teammate crashed out on lap 1, bringing out our first safety car of the race. Brogan on the back of Knowing Light, both drivers on the medium tire, as they come down into turn 6. The end of sector 1, going to start sector 2 here. Can make up a lot of time throughout every sector here. This probably the most difficult, but also very flowing if you get it right. Through the double left-hander here, turns 9 and 10, the Haas all over the back of the Racing Point. Haas with 2 rookie drivers coming in for this year in real F1, which will be starting in almost around under a month, actually just over a month, in mid-March. Testing though is 1 month away. We're 1 month away from 2021 season testing, and we are all very much looking forward to that, as we feel starved already, just with F1 being gone for 2 months. Brogan though unable to catch, as he has 0% ERS. Knowing Light still has some. The DRS and ERS systems, part of the technology that F1 has developed over the years. The DRS system, as Brogan over-rotates the car just a little bit. Granny Boy, though, closing in, gaining 1.5 seconds the last lap on Walker. On those soft tires, he's going to have to try to make up a little bit more time than that, I think, if he's going to want to catch up back to Walker before the next set of pit stops. A lot of gaps in the field at the moment right now. El Capitano probably the closest, as D2E Kronos pitting again and gets speeding into the pit lane. Kronos not having a very good debut so far for the reserve driver for the Mercedes team. Mercedes finishing on track next to each other in every single race. So he's going to have to make up some serious ground here if he is to catch up to his teammate of Knight Katsi. Brogan Morris, though, trying to hang on to Knowing Light, as he's using overtake throughout the entire lap here. But as we were talking before, DRS, as you will see here, there is a DRS detection point before the DRS sections on each track. There are 2 here, and when you cross that detection point, if you were within 1 second of the driver ahead of you, whether they are on the same lap as you or not, when you cross the DRS activation point, you'll be able to open your wing, as you see Brogan do right there, and it will give you 30 to 40 kilometers per hour, about 15 to 20 miles per hour, more top-end speed than the driver ahead, allowing you to help overtake, as the downforce and the aerodynamics of these cars make it very hard to follow, with the cars losing up to, I believe it is, 80% of their downforce sometimes when they are right on the tail of the car ahead. As you can imagine, it's like basically lifting up the front of your car. It's basically like starting to drive on ice. Your car just will not turn. Your tires are almost floating in the air with how much downforce you're losing. That's what the design of these cars, the Red Bull is designed for rake and designed for very high downforce, trying to utilize the most of that DRS to remove some of that for their overtaking, but it makes them very quick in the corners, versus a car like Mercedes was designed for top-end speed, but they've been able to develop their downforce in a way that it doesn't really affect their speed, but still gives them all the bite and ability that they need throughout the lap, as you'll see with the Racing Point and the Mercedes engine overall. Different cars though, different systems, but in this case, all the cars are set to equal, so there's no difference on track in performance here. As you see, Brogan able to maintain his gap to Knowing Light. Knight Katsi, though, catching up on the back of Sohan, 5/10 behind, as both drivers, it appears, as you can look at the steering wheel, using their overtake as that green light turns on. Knight keeping it on, though, even though he's not going to be able to get an overtake done here. He's going to burn through his ERS, which is the other factor. These cars, as we said, are designed to be technologically advanced, be one of the highest levels of racing in terms of technology and advancement. And it's supposed to relate to what you'll see in your everyday car in 3, 4, 5, 6 years. They use hybrid engines in all these cars. Basically using a combination of an MGUK as, oh, and he taps the inside. Sorry about that, folks. He taps the inside of the Ferrari, able to save it, though, and keep it going on track. Sohan, Matthew, and Knight getting very close together. It's very hard because there's many different lines you can take through there. It appears that it was very clean, but it's hard to judge, as Walker has now pit, actually, onto the hard tires, and Knight runs him off the track. He tries to go down the outside. He gets his wheel in there, and Knight Katze is going to defend very aggressively in that Mercedes. Granny Boy up into the lead. Faber Cobalt is also on the hard tires at the moment. And he gets the move done now, down the inside. Gets the move done cleanly on Knight Katze. Knight Katze is going to try to fight back, though, it appears, using overtake to try to get back past Walker. He's going to go down the inside and completely overruns the corner. Thankfully, Walker paying attention, able to avoid contact, get the move done. And it should be enough to get him ahead of Knight Katze here and get out of his DRS range. Let's see. And he opens the back wing, but he's already 1.2 seconds off the road. Walker is. Plenty of space. Let's see what Granny Boy does here. And he's going to pit immediately, going for the medium tires, you would imagine here. Slows it down, gets it under. We'll have to see how much Walker has an advantage here on Granny Boy. Yeah, and as we expected, Granny Boy onto the medium tires. They will be about 0.7 to 0.6 a lap quicker on average than the hard tires in ideal conditions. Sohan Matthew, though, currently leading this race on the medium tires. 12 lap old at the moment. Walker on his brand new hard tires. Knight Katze, Knowing Light, and Brogan Morris all on old mediums, needing to stop. Faber Cobalt on those old hards. And Granny Boy comes out on new mediums all the way down in 9th. Revis Island on hard tires, but they are 6 laps old at the moment. He's going to try to hang on and catch up to Cobalt, but I highly doubt he will, as Cobalt is on the newer tires at the moment. Cobalt catching this traffic up ahead of him, defend very aggressively as Brogan goes wide. Brogan with a little bit of wing damage actually appears. Nope, no wing damage, sorry about that. And he turns into Cobalt. What is he doing? Brogan Morris. Hopefully he doesn't defend too terribly here. Brogan Morris out of using all of his overtake in a battle that is not really even for position. Completely different race there, and Brogan is locking wheels and running Cobalt off the track. Keeps it clean through there, the braking zone. Cobalt is able to get the move done. Let's see if his teammate is going to let him through. They probably will be pitting here shortly at some point. Yellow flag in Sector 3. It appears Jan has spun out again through the tight right-hander. Knowing Light leads ahead his teammate. Walker, though, leading the race. Sohan Matthew passed just now by Walker to take the lead. Granny Boy down in 8th, though. He's going to have some good overtaking. He's going to have to get done on some good drivers. Revis Island, Cobalt, Knowing Light. Knowing Light will probably pit before Granny Boy, but Revis Island and Cobalt will be are ahead net on track. Walker P1, Cobalt P2, Revis P3, Granny Boy P4. After pit stops are completed, if there is no safety car right now. Those are the drivers to watch competing for the podium here today. Granny Boy trying to make use of those medium tires. They will get him to the end of the race. He will maintain his speed through them. Cobalt on the back of his teammate. His teammate is not going to let him through. He's going to try to actually probably give him DRS here to his teammate and try to give him as much slipstream as possible to help him pull ahead. Knowing Light, smartly staying wide. Knowing Light using overtake, though, against his teammate. He's fighting his teammate very aggressively here on old tires, knowing he needs to pit. But his teammate is able to get the move done. Didn't appear very clean. Wonder what was being said between the two of them there. Currently, no penalties for the top drivers. No time penalties for corner cutting. Very clean racing overall. Brogan Morris up into 4th after Knight Katze and Sohan go into the pits. Walker, though, 7-second gap to the drivers behind. Granny Boy, 11 seconds behind. He's going to have to make up 1 second a lap here if he's going to catch Walker and have any chance of overtaking. He's going to have to overtake Revis and Cobalt in the process. Granny Boy, though, closing it on Revis. Revis closing it on Brogan. Brogan has been very aggressively defending that position. Mooks on the back of Capitano here as well. On the 6-lap-old medium tires. So on Matthew, brand new mediums behind him. He's going to try to get past Capitano before he's able to be caught. As Revis Island trying to get to the back of Brogan here. Brogan, though, gaining on Knowing Light. Both drivers on old medium tires. Revis' Island was on the 8-lap-old hard tires, so Granny Boy is closing in on him as well. We may see a double overtake. Brogan is going to be under a lot of pressure here from the drivers behind. Haas currently leading his teammate, but will have to pit here very shortly. As they're able to overtake the McLaren down, and then the Red Bull hops in behind the McLaren. He's going to try to go down the inside maybe. Both of them using overtake. Down the inside, Granny Boy, Revis Island going to try for the switchback, but he's unable to get it done. Granny Boy with the better line, gets the racing line, gets on the power quicker, and gets ahead. Nice clean move from Granny Boy. 2 overtakes at once right there. That's exactly what he needed. Cobalt, the only person that stands between him and Walker for the battle for the race lead. It did lose him a little bit of time, only able to close in 0.5 of a second that lap. Granny Boy going to have to start gaining a little bit more time here, but now he has an open track. He should be able to make up quite a bit of time. We'll have to keep an eye on him throughout the race here. Capitano still leading away Mooks. The Ferraris 9th and 10th after starting the race from P4 and P6. Night Catsy starting to get a little bit of a line forming back here between some of the drivers. Night Catsy almost hitting the back of Draco there. Currently, no safety cars since the VSC back on lap, I believe it was 8. Oh, and he taps the back of Draco. And he's going to go down the outside, locking wheels slightly. Unable to get the move done. And Granny Boy gets 3 seconds to time penalties. That's going to be huge coming to the end of this race. Granny Boy is having to push very hard on those medium tires to try to catch up. And it ends up costing him there 3 seconds of time penalties for Granny Boy. Slight corner cut somewhere there. That was his 3rd warning of the race. And that's when you get your 3-second time penalties. 3 warnings if you're cutting. Using strict corner cutting here in the Savior 6 Racing League. Let's see what Mooks can do. Capitano with almost no overtake. Mooks full of overtake, but not using it. Very smart driving from the Haas. Drain the driver in front of all of his overtake. Take your time, recover yours, and then make your move when you get a very good exit. Capitano on the back of Prince, probably going to be getting DRS here as well. All of them on about the same lap old medium tires here. As Brogan Morris is now finally going into the pits. Sorting out our race leaders, it's Walker in P1, Cobalt P2, Granny Boy P3 on the mediums with a 3-second time penalty. Revis Island in P4, out of the DRS of Granny Boy now. Prince, 8 seconds behind him in 5th, trying to get Renault some solid points here. The only points scored by Renault were by RB Draco, who now drives for a different team since he was a reserve driver when he got his Renault points. El Capitano back in 6th, a good performance from the Red Bull driver after some connection issues earlier. Mooks in 7th, 4/10 behind. Sohan Matthew, 8th place for the Ferrari. 9th is Knowing Light, and 10th is Night Catsy. Brogan comes out in 12th position on the soft tires. He should be able to get into the end. He's going to struggle a little bit on his last couple laps. But right now, Granny Boy, 9.5 behind, still needing to keep up this pace. If he can keep this up, he may have a last lap overtake attempt on Walker. He's going to have to try to get past Cobalt very quickly, though. Cobalt holds him up for a lap or two. It may not leave enough time for him to get back at Walker. Very interesting race here throughout the field so far. Mooks with a not as good of an exit here. Capitano is going to have DRS to try to catch him. No, he's not, actually. Mooks, though, with the DRS open from behind. Trying to close in. 7th place for the reserve driver, Haas driver. Haas trying to get double points here today. Currently P5 in the driver's standings with 27 points, 5 points behind Mercedes. Currently only have 1 point on the board right now, and if Brogan can get past him, that's no points for Mercedes. Should move Haas up above them in the constructor standings. As Capitano riding behind Prince, slowly catching him, and Night Catsy gets a penalty So that will move Brogan ahead on the time penalties. As long as Brogan doesn't get any penalties, but he gets past Knight anyway. Very good move from Brogan there, using the DRS up in the 10th position. As Capitano closing in on Prince. We'll have to see if he can get a move done. Doesn't appear either drivers have any damage. Seem very clean. Capitano through the snaking section. We haven't seen him. He missed the last race for an unknown cause, but he's back here today. Almost didn't get in. Able to close in at the last second and able to get in and get a seat. Got everything sorted. Up in 6th position. Currently, pretty big gaps throughout the field, other than the battle between Prince, Cap, and Mooks. Currently, everybody else in the field over 1 second apart. Actually, D2E Kronos catching up on the back of Tiburon James here. On the hard tires, 7-lap old. Let's see if he can fight back and hopefully maybe get a point here on his debut as a reserve driver. Good turn. He's going to go here, down the inside of Tiburon James, and he's going to make the move look very easy. Trying to outbrake him, locking up just a little bit. Gets through the turn cleanly, though, and he's going to have the position. Tiburon James will have DRS, but he gets the move done. Sheath Chris passing Jay Stee. Must have been a bad corner for Jay Stee. Actually, Jay Stee may have disconnected. We'll see if we can invite him back. Maybe he needs a new invite. He may be off. Cobalt, though, with Granny Boy now on his back. Let's check the gap to the leader. 8.5 behind. At the moment, Walker is going to be holding on for the lead of this race, but Granny Boy, once he gets past Cobalt, will be setting time trial times, pushing as hard as he can to try to close that gap. He should be able to get past Cobalt pretty easily here. Using all of his overtake he has left. Cobalt using his as well. DRS open on Granny Boy. Cobalt get a hold the outside line. Let Granny Boy take the inside. And here they come, trying to outbrake one another. Granny Boy's on the inside. He's able to hold the tight turn on those grippier tires. Cobalt all over the back of Granny Boy, though. He's going to have DRS if he can get a better exit here. Not really able to. Going to save his ERS and try to hang on to the Granny Boy here. He's going to try to use Granny Boy to pull him into Walker. But both drivers very low on ERS. If they're battling, this is just letting Walker pull ahead even more. Walker with an 8-second gap on Granny Boy, and Granny Boy with the 3-second time penalty. Granny Boy is going to have to put in an unbelievable performance here if he's going to want to get back up ahead of Walker. He's going to have to gain 3 seconds on Walker as well. Currently, no safety cars, very clean throughout. Brogan Morris on those new softs, up into 8th position, gaining a lot of spots so far. Our best battle on track is Brogan gaining up on Knowing Light. Knowing Light pitted onto the medium tires. Brogan pit onto the soft tires here. So a serious speed advantage, at least for the moment, for Brogan. Depending on how old these softs are, if you did any laps on them in quali, we'll find out shortly towards the end of the race if he starts losing his pace. But Brogan trying to chase down Knowing Light here. Both drivers with almost no overtake. Coming through Sector 2, he's going to try to gain down the inside, get a couple good turns here. He does have the better tires on right now. Let's see if Brogan can take advantage of that. Prince on the new softs as well, with Mooks right behind him. Trying to catch up to Draco, trying to battle for those final couple points positions there. Penalties for both the drivers ahead. 3 seconds for Night Catsy, 3 seconds for Draco. Prince on the back of Draco here. Going to try to catch up and go past him. He's going to have the DRS here. It should be a pretty easy move overall for Prince on those newer medium tires. Draco, though, using a lot of his overtake. Prince going to try to outbrake him on the soft tire, and he's able to easily swing through, but he runs a little bit deep. That's going to let Draco get a good run out. Here he comes. Draco on the outside. Prince on the inside. And Prince is going to have the racing line. He's going to get the position done. And it's going to cost him the position. Draco the position to Mooks as well, who's up into 11th. Both drivers on the soft tires. Capitano is now into the pits. His tires were getting very old, hoping for a safety car of some sort to pit under. Unable, never comes, and he's going to have to pit under green. It's going to be very hard for him to come back and get points here today. But Prince is up into 9th in that Renault on the new softs. He's definitely probably the driver to watch. Currently, the biggest mover of the day, though, Capitano from starting P12, up 7 positions. Cobalt, if he did not have that grid penalty, it'd be very surprising to see where he'd be in this race right now. Granny Boy, still 7 seconds behind Walker. Hopefully, Walker can hold him off. Granny Boy, though, with the better tires, Walker has disconnected. Another unfortunate race for Walker. Hopefully he can get back quick enough here. Brogan still 7/10 behind Knowing Light here. Granny Boy making up time hand over fist at the moment on Walker. This is just very unfortunate to see. Same issue we've had the last couple races for Walker. Very good driver. Keeps getting kicked out. Whether it was internet or the game, it's very unfortunate all around. Granny Boy now only 3 seconds behind Walker. Nightcatsy going down the inside on Brogan. He dives a little bit too deep, and Brogan is going to be able to get the switchback on him, keeping the position for the time being. On those newer softs, he should be able to hold that position, but he's struggling really poorly right now, with Knowing Light pulling away on medium tires from him. He's already gotten out of the DRS of Brogan. Brogan out of his DRS. Rivas with a 12-second gap at the moment. Capitano, though, goes fastest overall in the race right now. In P11 on those new soft tires. Granny Boy has overtaken Walker. Cobalt gaining on him as well. Prince gets a 3-second time penalty. That's unfortunate as he goes down into P11, wondering if he was run off by Capitano there. Be very unfortunate if that's the reason he got his penalty. Couldn't see anything though. Capitano up in the 10th position though, battling back. Able to get some points here for the Red Bull. Hopefully makes a couple more moves here from him as he closes in on the back of Mooks, both on very new soft tires. As we saw Capitano with the fastest lap, showing that true pace in that Red Bull car right now. We'll have to see if Rivas Island can catch up to Walker here. Capitano, 5/10 behind. Trying to get Walker back into this session. Rivas Island is closing up. Cobalt trying to hang on though. Cobalt showing a little bit of pace here. Only 2.7 behind currently on, based on the penalties from Granny Boy. He would be in P1 at the moment, but Granny Boy is slowly growing the gap. Little by little every lap. Hopefully, if Granny Boy's tires do start falling off, we do say they can go 17 laps, but they may lose a little bit of performance the last couple laps here. Cobalt with a very good race so far, though. As Walker joins in, he's back. We'll have to see if he can close up as well. It's going to be very difficult for him, though. With a 3-second gap to try to get into behind Granny Boy. Revis Island 4th, Soha Matthew 5th, Knowing Light in 6th, Night Cassie 7th with a penalty, Brogan Morris in 8th, Mooks in 9th, Capitano 10th, Prince in 11th, Draco 12th, Chief Chris right behind Draco in 13th position. Chris on much newer medium tires, Draco on those 19-lap-old mediums. His tires are got to be screaming at the moment. Chief Chris is going to use a little bit of one of his warnings there to try to get a move done here on Draco, as Draco's able to somehow outbrake Chief Chris on those old tires. He is managing extremely well so far. Hopefully they don't burst. They have to be crying right now, probably around 80%. As you can see, every time he tries to put the power down, almost losing the back end of the car. As Chris gets the move done, opens the DRS, he's going to grow his gap just a little bit. And that's so unfortunate. Walker should be able to hold on for P3, but it should have been so much better result. As there's a yellow flag. Not a good reason why. Somebody's in the pits, and it's Brogan Morris falling out of the points. It's going to move Prince up to 10th for the time being. Let's see what his penalty situation. Only a 3-second penalty. Chief Chris 11 seconds behind. Should be safe to hold that position there. Moose though behind Capitano. 6/10 behind. Capitano trying to get up and get ahead of Night Cassie. Currently ahead of him on penalties. And then Knowing Light much further up the field. But he wants to beat him on track here. Kronos up into 12th position. Mooks in 9th. 6/10 behind. Just hanging on. This gap's been here the entire race since their pit stops. Mooks and Capitano battling back and forth. Dragging each other around the circuit. Granny Boy, though, P1 on his final lap of the race. Cobalt only 7/10 behind. He's going to have to try to find 7/10 through the final couple of turns here for them. Trying to make up the gap, trying to get P1 from Granny Boy with the 3-second penalty. Jan, much farther behind the field, as currently all the gaps are large, other than the Capitano-Mooks fight, but it doesn't appear Mooks is really going to be able to do much in that battle. Let's watch Granny Boy here, though. As he comes through this Sector 2, he's going to be coming onto Sector 3. He's going to have a really good lap here. As Walker crashes out and DNFs. I couldn't tell if he lost it or what happened there. If he just upset from the connection issues. It's a very unfortunate thing to happen. But Granny Boy here, he's only 3.4 ahead. Cobalt trying to catch up. He's going to get DRS here, actually. No, he's not. Oh, I thought he had the DRS from Jan there for a second. Granny Boy, 6/10 ahead on penalties. Coming through the final turns here. He's going to have to nail this final turn, otherwise he leaves the door open if Cobalt can hit it. And Granny Boy crosses the line in the Chinese Grand Prix. Let's see if Cobalt can do. And it's going to be P1 for Granny Boy here at the Chinese Grand Prix. After connection issues and a DNF from Walker, Granny Boy gets P1. Vapor Cobalt P2. 4/10 behind after the 3-second time penalty from Granny Boy. Unable to hold it. Granny Boy able to stretch his lead just enough there to get the position. And Rivas, with his first podium of the season, gets P3. Soha Matthew brings it home. P4 for Ferrari. Knowing Light leads Night Cassie across the line, the racing point. Gonna get 5th and 6th here between the two of them. Capitano holds the position on Mooks. Mooks now 2 seconds behind. I wonder if anything happened there. Capitano up to 6th, though, due to the penalties from Night Cassie. Mooks in 8th. Prince coming across the line. 9th place for the Renault. And he should hold that position because he only has 3 seconds of penalties. Chief Chris going to make it double points for Ferrari as well. A P10. And that's an amazing result for the Ferraris. But word out for Granny Boy. Another race victory. And his teammate getting fastest lap of the race. The final driver is coming across the line, but another unfortunate day for Walker. He had the victory in hand, especially after Granny Boy gets the time penalty. And unfortunately, just, I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just unfortunate. A very amazing driver, but connection issues keep affecting him. He keeps disconnecting. It's very unfortunate to see. We may be able to try to figure something out, to try to sort it out. But Granny Boy, nonetheless, getting P1. A driver that we do know doesn't just want the win every time. He wants to beat the best at their best. And I'm sure he'll say that in his interview here today. As Granny Boy taking the top step on the podium, winning it for Red Bull once again. Cobalt getting his P2. Going to be probably pretty upset that he couldn't get up to the P1 spot, even after the penalty from Granny Boy. And Revis Island getting his first podium of the season. Stay tuned here. We will try to potentially get some post-race interviews done with some of the drivers here. And we welcome in Granny Boy. P1 once again, but I have a feeling he doesn't feel as happy as he would if he had won it on track, I guess cleanly.
Yeah. I'm very disappointed about that. I'm happy for the win, obviously, but there's not really much I can say to take the win. My only strategy was from that was when I got a 3 second time and it was getting out of vapors 3 seconds, and obviously I did that. I had really good pace at the end. I was keeping it like mid 33s, high 33s on mediums. Walker was giving him his times on the hards. It wasn't really much off. Yeah, I felt like Cobalt was struggling. I felt like he was struggling. At the end, and obviously I was gaining the time, and yeah, I got a 3 second time. So yeah, I definitely would have happily taken second today. My teammate did a fantastic job, grabbing fastest lap as well. I'm really chuffed for him today. Really chuffed.
Yeah, stole from you there right at the end. But good to see. At least it stays within the team, and that's what matters most. But yeah, it was really nice watching the end there. At least you battling with Cobalt, trying to get out of that 3 second gap. He was probably about 2 or 3 tenths away from getting DRS down that back stretch too, from a lap back marker there. So it probably saved your race there by him not getting it as well. It would have been a lot closer.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely grabbed the DRS off an Alfa Romeo. Yeah, that definitely might have helped me out a little bit more. Yeah, obviously when I first overtook Vapor, I wanted him. Well, obviously not wanting him to stay in my DRS. He stayed in the DRS on the first lap that I overtook him, and then after that, I just kept that what's the word? Just trying to keep it straight and narrow. You know, not making any mistakes. I will get the word. It's not with me yet. Yeah, it was really good at the end. I feel really, really sorry for Walker. He knows he would have won that race today. I felt like that virtual safety car actually was a little bit out, a bit longer than what I thought. Because it literally came in as soon as I changed my tyres, so I didn't feel like I made any time at all. So I had to really push for that. It was a good race actually for myself, but I did feel sorry for Walker.
Yeah, no, you did everything you had to do to compete, whether it would have been P2 or P1. You had a very good race overall, and congrats again on just doing your best and making the most of whatever you needed to do. Being there when you needed to be. So. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, being there when I needed it was there. And you know, it was a really good podium finish, to be honest. Taking a 2-stop strategy when a virtual safety car came out, made some really good overtakes. I felt like I don't know if you call it three overtakes again. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that one again.
Oh yeah. We'll be watching that back in the end of the year highlights for sure.
Yeah, that's two. That's 2 out of 4 races so far. I'm hoping to make another one. Monaco's not on the track for that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If anybody can do it, it's you.
Oh my days! I don't know if I can do that. To be fair, mate, Monaco's very, very difficult.
Well,
no,
either
I really
way,
enjoyed it.
Yeah. Great performance today, and
thank you.
Cheers, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon.
All right, take it easy, Grant.
Bye.
See ya. And now we welcome in P2 on the day, almost converting it into a P1 there. Vapor Cobalt, how'd your day go today? How'd you feel?
Let's just say it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I wish I stayed up in P3, but that incident in Q3 just...
Oh, yeah, that cost you. I mean, you only lost the race by 4/10 and having to make up 5 spots at the start.
I think after, if I would have been P3, I would have probably been able to stick with them a little bit more, but I guess I'll take P2 and P5 for my teammates, so not a bad result for us.
Yeah, we saw you guys fighting a little bit down the straightaway there. It wasn't a very clean overtake between the two of you. Looking like he was still battling pretty hard with you.
No, he was letting me by. It's just that I was on colder. My hards were just getting worn in, so I wasn't getting the best of grip, and he was on older medium. So
gotcha. Well, quick question for you. We saw you were almost gaining on that Alfa Romeo. We saw you near the DRS zone. You were there.
I was right there. I was freaking out. I'm like, oh come on, yes, and I just didn't get it.
Oh man.
I think if I would have got it, it would have been a probably different situation. It was just.
Oh yeah, we were hoping you would get it because we changed to it right as you were getting to the DRS. We didn't see if you had gotten it or not. We were hoping it would open. We just saw it didn't open. It was.
There was a couple times when I was right behind the lap car and hoping to get DRS, but it just didn't happen.
Hey,
I know one time I crossed this detection point when I was behind Grant, and it didn't give it to me. But...
Oh, jeez. Yeah, there's some glitches with the game and stuff sometimes, so it's a little unfortunate. But hey, you made the most of it. Amazing comeback drive from P8 to P2.
Yeah, after getting.
We caught it on stream, and there'll definitely be some discussions with the stewards about that.
I was fuming.
Could be worthy of potentially, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything now. I'll say it once the broadcast's off. Yeah. But if you watch the stream back, you'll see what I said.
Yeah, I was going through the fast left-hander, and then he was like, okay, he's going to move out of my way when I'm going on that straightaway. Well, I caught up to him in the corner before that little straightaway. I'm like, okay, is he not moving? And he doesn't move, so I'm going on his outside, and then come in to go into that corner, and he just completely hits me. I have to cut the corner, and then I pull to the side, and then he's just there hitting the side of my car. And then
it looked like it was something on purpose. That's what we were wondering, if it was on purpose or not, because it looked very intentional, moving across you there and then coming off the track and like trying to hold you up or something. We were unsure, but if there's any intention in that at all, I believe it should be at least a race or two ban.
Yeah, definitely looked kind of fishy because he was a couple not friendly, not just to the side of my car.
Well, hey,
and I'm even surprised he didn't get a 5 place.
Yeah, that was the surprising thing. But hey, at least you did everything you needed to do, got the P2. Congrats on the result today.
Thank you. I feel bad for Walker.
Oh yeah, no, we were watching him, and I saw it disconnect. I switched him, and I saw it was ghosted, and my heart just sank. You'll hear me. I won't say anything in the broadcast for like 2 minutes because I'm just like gutted for him. I felt so bad because we did everything. We even made him host, and he still got kicked. So I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, there was definitely today some fishy people with some fishy internet problems.
Yeah. I mean, my only thing that I think we can do with Walker, he said he's not going to race again.
Which is unfortunate.
The only other thing I could think is he quits the race, like when we go to a safety car or something, and then rejoins at that point. So hopefully it like resets his timing.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Probably very good driver, but hey, hopefully
I feel like he would be the one that would battle Grant in the championship.
Oh yeah, well you're
definitely.
You're the one that's going to have to catch him now. So you did really well today. It seems like you're getting closer every race. So
yeah.
Hopefully you can capitalize going to the Netherlands. You said that's another good track of yours. So
better than my last result in Vietnam.
Hey, fair enough. Well, thanks for talking to us. And we'll see you in Vietnam. Good luck.
Vietnam.
Or Zanzibar, Netherlands. Yeah. Hey, maybe we'll go back to Vietnam. That was Grant's first qualifying.
Please no. Please no.
All right. Well, take it easy, man. I'll see you.
You too.
Okay. And now, into the paddock, we have P3 today, after the unfortunate DNF from Walker. But he in the right spot, capitalizing at the right time. He's where he needed to be at the right time. Revis Island with his first podium of the season. Revis Island, congrats. How does it feel?
Well, it feels good. It's crazy to think that it took me 4 races to get a podium when last season was a lot more consistent, a lot better results, but unfortunate, like you said, I'm fortunate for Walker to DNF, but I'm super stoked to pick up the podium.
Yeah, no, it was really good drive from you overall. We were surprised. We were going to see if you went to the hards or you tried to go on to mediums and hope for a safety car, but it was a good call in the end going on to the hards because we ended up not having another safety car the rest of the race there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's good call there. Yeah, we were on the safety car. I think I was in like 7th or 8th place. I was behind a couple soft runners. I saw them all go in the pits. I think most of them, except for the medium runners. I really thought I made the wrong choice by not going into the pits, but I guess I know like the last couple of races we had at China, we haven't had too many safety cars, if any at all. So I took the risk. I figured my tires aren't too worn yet. I could run in a couple extra laps and then just go one stop the hards. And if there's no safety car, it should work out exactly like it did this race. So. Yeah, no, I'm really glad that I stayed out, actually, so it ended up working out, definitely.
Yeah, no, good race overall. McLaren from 8 up to 23 points in just one race, pulling you off the bottom there. Hopefully get your teammate up in the top 10 here one of these races, but...
Hopefully, I think he did finish 12th. I think he was up there, so he did see some improvement today, so...
Yeah. How do you feel about the next race in Zanzibar?
Zanzibar, well, last season I did DNF on like the 3rd lap. I feel like I've It's one of my better tracks. I feel like I had pretty good pace there, but I mean, we'll see. It's a tricky track. There's not too much overtaking, so qualifying is definitely going to be key at that track for sure, because there's really only one overtaking spot in the front stretch. But it'll be an interesting race for sure.
All right. Well, get your time in the sim, and we'll see you at Zanzibar on Thursday.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. Thanks for the time, Rebus.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks. Have a good night.